In this video, we're going to walk through how to get MIDI working with ProPresenter. Whether you want to control ProPresenter from another device or program, or use ProPresenter to send MIDI commands out to other gear, we will show you exactly how to set everything up, both at the system level and the ProPresenter application level, so your MIDI integration works reliably. All right, first, what does MIDI do for you in ProPresenter? MIDI is a communication protocol that allows ProPresenter to send and receive commands over devices and software that support MIDI. You can use it to trigger cues, select playlists, advance slides, control external systems, and much more, all without clicking anything in the ProPresenter interface. To make this work, there are two parts we'll cover. First is setting up ProPresenter at the system level, so your computer actually sees MIDI devices on the network or locally, and then setting up MIDI inside ProPresenter, so the software knows how to use those MIDI connections. Let's start with Mac computers. On macOS, you use the built-in Audio MIDI Setup utility. Open it via Spotlight, that's Command Space, and search for Audio MIDI Setup. Or open Finder and go to Applications, Utilities, Audio MIDI Setup. Once it launches, make sure to go to MIDI Studio under Window, Show MIDI Studio in the menu bar, and then open MIDI Network Setup by clicking the globe icon in the top right corner of the window. In the MIDI Network window, add a new session by clicking the plus button. Enable that session, and you'll see fields where you can name the session and customize how it appears on the network. If another device, say an iPad running a MIDI controller app, is on the same network, it should show up under Directory. Just select it and click Connect. Once connected, those devices will appear as participants in your session, and now your Mac can send and receive MIDI over the network. If you want MIDI communication between programs on the same Mac, like triggering ProPresenter from another app, you can also use the IAC Driver built into MIDI Setup. Enable a bus and set it online. Then ProPresenter will be able to listen to or send MIDI through that internal port when you select it in the ProPresenter device settings. Okay, let's talk about Windows. You'll need to use third-party tools to set this up. rtpMIDI creates MIDI network sessions similar to what macOS does. And loopMIDI creates virtual MIDI ports if you want to share MIDI between programs on the same machine. Install rtpMIDI, create and enable a MIDI session just like you would on Mac, and make sure both systems are on the same network. As long as they're on the same LAN, rtpMIDI should discover the other devices in its directory. If you're triggering something on the same computer, like another program sending MIDI to ProPresenter, run loopMIDI, click the plus button to make a port, and leave that running in the background. Once those tools are active, your MIDI connection will show up in the ProPresenter device list. Now that your MIDI session is live at the system level, let's switch over to ProPresenter itself. Open ProPresenter Settings and go to the Devices tab. If you haven't added a MIDI device yet, click the plus button in the middle of the window and choose MIDI. This creates the MIDI device profile you'll connect for your setup. Here's how MIDI commands control things inside ProPresenter. Inside this panel, you'll also see the MIDI map button. Click it to determine which MIDI notes correspond to specific commands. To trigger a navigation or playback action, you send a note with its velocity set to 0. Those values tell ProPresenter what to do. Some commands use the note plus intensity values to select items by index, like choosing the 4th playlist or the 6th slide in a group. MIDI notes range from 0 to 127, and you can use the autofill feature to quickly populate a range of commands based on a starting note. Once the device is added, you can change the name of the device if needed. You can enable auto reconnect so ProPresenter will reconnect automatically if MIDI link drops and comes back. There are also hardware and behavior settings, but for most setups, these can be left as is. Next, there's a section labeled Sources and Destinations. ProPresenter can send and receive MIDI commands simultaneously, and if you have multiple MIDI devices in your setup, you can limit the number of channels to prevent crosstalk. Sources are where ProPresenter listens for incoming MIDI commands, and destinations are where ProPresenter sends MIDI commands out to other gear or software. Once your map is configured, click back and then connect to activate the device inside ProPresenter. ProPresenter can also send MIDI. You can attach MIDI actions to slides and macros. To do this, right-click on any slide or macro and choose Add Action, Communication, MIDI, MIDI Note On. That lets ProPresenter emit a MIDI message when that slide or macro is triggered. You can also add a matching MIDI note off action if your external device needs an off command. And you can add multiple MIDI notes to a single slide or macro to control more than one destination. If you ever have trouble getting MIDI working, make sure your MIDI session is enabled on the system level, and then restart ProPresenter if new sources don't show up. Or in the MIDI map, check incoming notes visually to verify ProPresenter is receiving. That's the complete workflow for getting MIDI running with ProPresenter, from establishing MIDI connections at the system level right through configuring devices and maps inside the app. Once you've got it connected, MIDI gives you powerful ways to integrate ProPresenter into your larger production environment, whether you're advancing slides from a network controller, triggering cues from playback software, or sending MIDI commands to external hardware. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.